You won't see it in the paper tomorrow, but I'll guarantee you, you go down to that Milwaukee clubhouse, and they're going to be shaking their heads if the score should remain the same way it is right now. They'll just say, we gave it to him. He struck him out. So that's 12 strikeouts by the New York pitching staff tonight. And Davis and Gossage do the job as the Yankees win the ball game. The first of the best of 5. Before they come to the ballpark, they get very nervous, they get very antsy, and they have a tough time out in the first few innings. Caldwell's been around. It's just going to be a matter of whether he puts all of his stuff together. He's been having problems getting the ball up a little bit.
And when he has gotten it up, he has been ripped. 7 home runs in his last 4 starts. And on the first pitch of the ball game, Willie Randolph shoots it into left field for a solid single.
I think the thing that it might mean here is it might change the thinking of Bob Rogers a little bit and realize that this is almost a must-win here this afternoon. And he just might not go as far with a starter or any pitcher than what he normally would. He might go to staff real early. That is if Caldwell gets in trouble.
Jerry Mumphrey now going to the other side of the plate against the left-hander Caldwell at 307 on the regular season. Randolph, generally considered the catalyst of this New York ball club, on first base to lead the game for them, and the attempted bunt is fouled away. The sun field here this afternoon will be left field. Anybody on the left side of the infield, third base, shortstop, and the left field is going to have a little trouble with the really brilliantly bright sun.
And Keith, it's going to get worse as the afternoon progresses, especially for the left fielder. And it's going to start bringing that shadow out towards home plate a little bit, towards the first base line. That's the way it'll work.
Mumphrey swings at a bad pitch. He's got a 2-strike count on him now.
You can see exactly what Jerry Mumphrey was thinking about right there. He's got a big hole to shoot through on that right side. Gantner, the second baseman, is cheating a little bit to the bag with a double play situation in order. There's that hole on the right side. That's exactly where he was trying to take a shot. Cooper holding the runner.
He needed a hoe handle to hit that one. 2-strike pitch to Mumphrey. Fouled away again.
And he's still trying to go to right field, as Don pointed out. You said this is a must-win game. Of course it is. It's not a league championship series. Must be likened to it because it's a best-of-5 series. There have been 24 such series. And the team winning the second game in 21 of those series wound up winning the series.
Got him. Good pitch.
Well, you take another look at it. He brought the curveball from the outside in. And he just nipped that outside corner. A very close call.
Yes, indeed, a very close call. I was interested in what Lemon told you. One of the 2 reasons for not using John today, that the infield's like concrete. Tommy with the sinker.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It is like a rock out there, and they really shoot through it. And I think we saw that last night. We were all commented on how fast some of those balls got through the infield. I was talking to Greg Nettles down prior to just talking to Bob Lemon. He said it's unbelievably fast.
Dave Winfield is up, and Reggie Jackson to the on-deck circle now with Randolph on first base. 1 out in the top of the first inning, and Buck Rogers is really working on the chaw. Winfield ready. Caldwell comes to it. Strike call. The wind was earlier today blowing directly in toward home plate. It has shifted a little bit toward right now. Not much wind.
Obviously, Caldwell has never posed a problem for Winfield. You saw that stat.
Toward the hole, into left field. Base hit. Same neighborhood that Randolph spanked his. So you've got 2 aboard now with 1 out, and Jackson coming to the plate. Kind of interesting to watch Reggie. He seems, as you get into this kind of a circumstance of playoffs, he just gets a little more pumped every day, a little bit more every day.
You see him at the cage today?
Yeah.
Really horsing around, more relaxed than I've seen him all year long. And it's the same reception wherever he goes.
Could be two. Gantner to Yount. Yount back to first. Got it. A 4-6-3 double play, and the Yankees are turned away. And the Milwaukee Brewers coming up. No score.
Batting first, Paul Molitor, then the great young one, Robin Yount. After him, Cecil Cooper. Keith has told you about him. Ted Simmons, deceptively low average, very dangerous hitter. The power man, Gorman Thomas. Then Ben Ogilvie, another big power man. Sal Bando, and he can do it too. Charlie Moore, underrated hitter. And Jim Gantner, the scrappy, tough kid at second.
The defense for the New York Yankees at first base again today. Bob Watson seemingly running very well last night. Willie Randolph is at second. And over at shortstop with Bucky Dent out, Larry Milburn. He's been playing better and better, getting more confidence there. At third base, the man who made the big defensive play for the Yankees last night, Greg Nettles. In the outfield, it's Dave Winfield in left, and you can see him looking up, positioning himself, realizing he's got to fight the sun this afternoon. In center field, Jerry Mumphrey. And over in right field, Reggie Jackson. And doing the catching, Rick Cerrone. Cerrone had a big night last night offensively and played his usual steady game on the defense. Out on the mound, young left-hander Dave Righetti. He stands about 6'3" and he weighs in the neighborhood of 200 pounds. He had an outstanding season. He offers the fastball, curve, change, slider. And he truly is a most promising young pitcher.
Well, there's no question about that. He just missed the ERA title by an inning and 2/3. And there you look at the strikeouts. Righetti right on top of Guidry. Then you go down to the other strikeout artists, Denny Barker and Dennis Martinez of Baltimore. But he has all the pitches, and he'll show them early. Cerrone is his keeper back there behind the plate. He calls all the pitches, and Dave usually goes right along with him, making his 16th start of the year. There's the dimensions at County Stadium. 315 down both lines. That's what you have to try and stay away from. Your power alleys, 362 to 392, 402 to straightaway center field.
Very disappointing crowd today. Lots and lots of empty seats. Number of reasons. Today, of course, the Jewish Day of Atonement, but the disaffection with baseball because of the events of the year more and more obvious. And it's got to be troubling the baseball managements deeply. They must be regretting A, the strike, B, the split season where teams like Cincinnati and St. Louis weren't even in the playoffs. How long there will be a hangover effect in future years remains to be seen.
Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, and Cecil Cooper now against Righetti. Molitor jumps on the first pitch, and if it's a fastball, he will almost inevitably do it.
Yesterday's hero, which is the way it is in sports.
Oscar Gamble, who had come to the ballpark 0 for 27 and just jumped all over things last night, including a 2-run home run. Righetti starts out at better than 90 miles an hour with his fastball. You've got a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on Molitor now. Got him.
He is relying so far on the fastball. I asked Cerrone what was wrong with Guidry last night as you look at it again. And he said, Howard, all he wanted to do was throw the slider. He keeps viewing Milwaukee as a fastball hitting club. And during the season, when he was at his best, he was using the slider as a strikeout pitch, not as regular pitch.
Well, Righetti has found the outside corner, hasn't he? He just burned it. He struck out Molitor. He's got a strike on Yount. That's a foul ball.
Not a bad theory of pitching, Keith. Just stay away from people's power. Of course, you're going to come inside to keep them honest. Maybe 1 pitch, maybe 2 pitches. But you can stay away with their power and keep the ball down. You've got a good chance of winning.
There's Louisiana Lightning. Tommy John's not here. He's on his way back to New York right now, being rested for tomorrow.
Righetti burns Yount, so he strikes out the first two batters he faces. Got them both on 93-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Boy, they just had some bad swings. Molitor pulled out. That ball was by Yount. Look at that swing of Robbins. That is not a Robin Yount swing there at all. He just threw it right by him.
Well, remember, 12 Brewers struck out last night against Messrs. Guidry, Davis, and Gossage. Cecil Cooper. I tell you, the way this kid's throwing the ball and the way it's popping into Cerrone's glove, he's going to need a new sponge by the 4th inning. Back to the pitcher. And Righetti makes it look easy in the bottom of the 1st inning as he strikes out Molitor Yount, gets Cooper on a comebacker. We've played 1 inning, and we have no score at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Lou Piniella, Greg Nettles, and Bob Watson for New York in the top of the 2nd inning. No score. Game number 2 of the American League Eastern Division playoffs. Yankees won last night 5-3. Mike Caldwell, the starting pitcher for Milwaukee. Pete Vukovich was scheduled. He has a virus and a high fever. He is a tentative starter for tomorrow's game in New York. The ball is hit high in the air to center field. Gorman Thomas moving easily under it, but quite deep, makes the catch. So that's 1 down.
Keith, that's what I was talking about a while ago. The ball carries so much better here in the daytime than at night, and Lou didn't get all of that ball at all. Look at that graphic right there. Caldwell, 18 home runs, followed by Jeff Zahn of California. Oakland surprising with 17 with Norris. Tanana was 17. A lot of those at Fenway. And
Dennis Leonard. Don, I'd like you, if you will, to analyze Caldwell's motion as soon as we get the opportunity, because you're the ex-pitcher. He does not appear to be throwing easily to me.
He's not throwing as easily as I've seen him throw before.
High towering fly ball into short center field by Greg Nettles, and 2 down. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited.
I think that last pitch that he threw to Greg Nettles looked about as easy a pitch that he's thrown since he's been out there. But I'll tell you one thing about Mike Caldwell. When he goes out there, he will battle you.
Well, he has not battled Bob Watson very successfully during Bob's career. He has chewed him up alive.
Well, it doesn't mean you're always successful. You can battle and still come out second best.
Then the battle wasn't worth it.
Check swing bouncer at 3rd base. Sal Bando throws him out. And so Caldwell gets the Yankees in order in the top of the 2nd after 1.5. No score in Milwaukee. Up, I guess if anybody in town knows the real thing about the pitcher, it'd have to be the catcher. To that point, here's Howard with Rick Cerrone.
Tell me what Righetti has.
Righetti, the difference between Righetti and 1 year is his maturity. When he came up, they didn't know if he'd be able to throw strikes. He was a little bit wild, but all of a sudden he comes out to be a mature pitcher. He knows what he's doing out there. He's got 4 good pitches that he throws, and it's his confidence, his makeup, I think, that I like more than anything. Nothing rattles him. He can walk the bases loaded and strike out the next 3 hitters.
What are the 4 pitches he throws?
A riding fastball, very similar to Guidry. He's got a good slider, a curveball that he uses once in a while, and a changeup also to make his fastball that much more effective.
Righetti pitching now to Ted Simmons in the Milwaukee half of the 2nd, and I should add to that, it helps to have a fastball that travels at 93 miles an hour. Whoops, 94. Let up on that one, just high on him. The count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike now on Simmons, with Gorman Thomas on deck and Ben Ogilvy to follow. while. He was high all day to Simmons, so Ted is aboard. Here's a man who was quiet at bat last night, and a bat the Milwaukee Brewers truly need. All right, Gorman is ready. Righetti comes to him, slides up the bat handle. Out at the plate for strike one.
Now there's a case right there. He's trying to beat out a bunt. He had Nettles playing back at third. He's just going to try and drop one down. And Keith, going back to the question you asked me right at the start of the game about what does it do to a pitcher, sometimes it affects your whole ball club too. They're getting keyed up for one man to pitch. They know what he can do. Not that Mike Caldwell can't. He's a 22-game winner just a few years ago. But then they realized, whoop, we lost our ace here this afternoon, and he's out, Vukovic. So we might have to bow our necks just a little bit harder. Try and pick this game up, and then we got Vuk coming back in New York.
1 ball and 1 strike as the pitch is high. Simmons at first base does not represent a whole lot of speed. At least not as much as he once did. Thomas swings through the fastball, and he's behind at 1-2. He strikes out Gorman Thomas. That is his 3rd strikeout.
And another bad swing. This is not a good swing at all by Gorman Thomas. That ball was by him.
Ben Ogilvy, quiet last night.
Pitcher has something to do with it now.
Oh, there's no question about that. Of course, it's bright, sunshiny day, and we've got a camera, I know, with Chet Forty, our director, behind home plate. And the way that sun is sitting on those empty seats in that supposedly hitting background in center field.
Strike one to Ogilvy, swing and a miss.
And Righetti coming right over the top the way that he is. Sometimes you wonder if that sun, when it starts to move a little bit, if that will darken up a little bit. It's quite bright right now.
1-1. He turned one over that time, and
He
it's 1-2.
sure did. Hello, Raleigh. Undaunted by last night, Mr. Fingers. Just a tremendous pitcher, competitor.
Well, that's 4 of them. All swinging.
92 miles per hour on that one. He's always up there in the 90s, Righetti. Interesting the way this Yankee staff has been built. It is, of course, the greatest strength the Yankees have, the starters and the great relievers and the middlemen, as Don pointed out last night. But Righetti came from Texas. Ron Davis was given up on by the Chicago Cubs. Somebody's been doing something wrong at both places.
Now that was that big trade with Texas that the Yankees made.
Bando hits it to right, going to go in the corner for extra bases. Simmons around second, headed for third. Bando is at second, stand-up double.
Anybody else but Ted Simmons, and Milwaukee might have a run. Bando just takes this pitch and goes the other way with it. And there's a seasoned veteran hitter right there.
The old pro. And you're right, Simmons is absolute slowness.
And you've got to give Reggie Jackson a lot of credit, too, because that ball can take some funny caroms down there in both corners, and he plays the ball perfectly to hold Simmons at third.
So Milwaukee has its first hit of the ball game with runners at second and third now for Charlie Moore, the designated hitter.
This is the fellow we talked about last night. Underrated. Gets virtually no publicity, but a fine contact hitter. Got 2 hits last night.
2 down and 2 on.
Howard, you're talking about that trade for Righetti. He was acquired from the Texas Rangers with Juan Benitez, who's now with California, Paul Mirabella, who's with Toronto, Mike Griffin, who I believe is with Chicago, and Greg Jemison.
There's a strike.
In exchange, the Yankees gave up Sparky Lyle, who's with Philadelphia, Mike Heath, who's with Oakland, Domingo Ramos, Larry McCall, and Dave Racich. That was that big trade.
Quite a trade for the Yankees.
Well,
I must say, Mike Heath is a spirited young ball player, especially united with Billy.
Moore tries to put it down, and Simmons scrambles back to third.
I don't believe that Simmons could have scored on that, even if he gets it down to third, because I believe Nettles will throw him out at the plate. And I think if he got it down in any kind of position, that's the only play that Nettles would have had.
Yep. Struck him out. Just blew him away. That's 5. All swinging. So Milwaukee's turned away, stranding 2 in the bottom of the second, no score. But by the personnel in baseball, Larry Milburn, one of those who moved from Seattle to New York. Howard talked to him about the move.
What about this Yankee team? Were you in awe of it, of all the great names when you joined it?
Well, when I got traded, Howard, I knew that I was coming to a ball club that had great tradition, some great ball players. And to be in the same clubhouse as the Yogi Berras, the Mickey Mantles, the Thurman Munsons, it was a great honor. And to, like I said, to be able to come out here and to play in a championship series or a playoff series, it's like a dream come true.
The young man has done very well, exercising opportunity. And the pitch from Caldwell to Milburn is on the corner for a call strike. Milburn provided us, Don, with a memorable moment, if you recall, as he lofts a fly ball out into left field in Yankee Stadium. It ricocheted off the head of Willie Wilson and went for an inside the park home run.
And the only one he hit all year.
That's right. To left field for Ogilvy. 1 out. Now Rick Cerrone, the Yankee catcher.
You don't realize what goes through a pitcher's mind, and Mike Caldwell has not been pitching well as of late. And all of a sudden you can find yourself out there and you're like a Thomas Edison. You're trying this, you're trying that, you're trying to do this, you shorten your stride, you lengthen your stride, you drop it this angle, turn it over this angle maybe a little bit. And there's his home record right there. He hasn't done well at County Stadium this year.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It is. I don't understand that. You would think that most every pitcher would usually pitch better at home.
Took a little off of it to make it 1-1.
I think Greg's worried.
Nettles giving himself a manicure.
That's fouled away. That's nervousness, because I do the same thing. Whittle, whittle, whittle. Dandy curveball there.
He's doing a good job now, Mr. Caldwell. And maybe giving rise to some Yankee thinking about Caldwell being a nemesis for them through the years.
Ooh, that thing took a dive, did it?
Right. Good breaking pitch. Well, that's what Bob said, Howard. He said that he'd been a nemesis for him, giving him fits.
Oh, there's a bullet. Willie's 2 for 2. Drilled them both, same place, left field. So with Randolph at first and 2 out, here's Mumphrey. If you take another look at it.
Take a look at how hard that infield is. Bando, a step and a jump, and it's by him. And it gets out to Ogilvy in a hurry, too.
One would think that Randolph would go in this situation. And he may now.
Got a pretty good margin. There he goes. To the shortstop, Yount. So the Yankees in the top of the third strand another man. They're second. No score in the ball game. Development out of the Indianapolis 500 story. We'll get to that in a moment. Right now, Greg, well, let me tell you about it right now.
Could take a year.
I'll highlight it. Fundamentally, Bobby Unser is again the winner of the Indianapolis 500. The board and the court consisting of Charles Brockman and Ronald McDonald, holding that Bobby Unser did gain an advantage in passing 6 cars coming out of the pits, but they felt the penalty of denying him victory in the Indy 500 was too severe, and decided to rescind the 1-lap penalty, and taking away the potential victory to Mario Andretti as the ground ball hit to the shortstop, and Larry Milburn throws out Jim Gantner. But they did penalize Unser and his racing team some, I would say some, and put that in quotes, $40,000. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that going to the courthouse yet.
That's, I think, the essential point, Keith. I wouldn't be surprised to see this wind up in an honest-to-goodness court of law.
I guess it's up to Roger Penske now to make the final decision on that. Top of the order, Paul Molitor. That's sharply struck, but right at Milburn. And Larry throws Molitor out for the second out of the inning. Now here's Robin Yount. He struck out on a very feeble swing, his first time up today. Turned it over, and the old deuce. Strike one.
Boy, there's a dandy curveball right Righetti right there. That really tied him up.
Ball is punched to the right side and in the crowd. The Brewers have been able to get the ball to the outfield only one time. That was Sal Bando's double. That's 6. And the first one called. So the Brewers go in order in the bottom of the third. And we have no score between the Yankees and Milwaukee. Second time around now for Caldwell with Winfield, Jackson, and Piniella. No score. Yankees heading in the top of the 4th inning. Ball 1. Hitched on that one and took it, and it cost him.
A lot of close calls for both pitches.
Well, you've got both pitchers, Howard, that have been really hitting some good spots so far. Righetti, especially with that fastball. He's been moving it well. He's throwing some good curveballs. Caldwell now starting to fall into a little pattern.
Yes, he's
going to be interesting.
You see him move that ball around? Outside the last time, inside then. Both perfectly spotted. Now he's looking like the guy who loves to pitch against the Yankees.
Winfield's gone.
I mean, he fooled him.
Winfield wondering what that pitch was. Now take another look at it. Whatever it was, it's a good pitch. He starts, and look out. That's one of those old country sinkers.
When David can't get that extension of those long arms, all 11 feet of them, as depicted by Keith last night, he's in trouble.
Country sinker, folks, has wide application.
Reggie up there swings and bounces it off. It's similar to the Cuban fork ball.
The claw ball.
You and your claw ball.
Moose Haas's claw ball didn't claw.
He's keeping everything well and compact right now. He's got it all going. He's a much different pitcher right now than he was in that Yankee first.
You're talking about Vancouver a while ago. Bamberger was a holy terror out of the Pacific Coast League a couple of seasons. Here's a pop up in the air, back of the plate. Simmons coming back to the screen. Ted's got a little room and just side saddles it enough to make the catch. Well, Bamberger used to throw something we call the Staten Island sinker.
Here's a good play by Teddy. He almost overran the ball, and he had to use a little Kentucky windage right there. That's about where Cerrone was last night, doing that little slide in a back bend going over there.
I asked him this morning if his legs were an inch longer after that play last night.
Ooh. You know, you worry about that extension of the knees on something like that, Keith.
Pop a cartilage so easy. Lou Piniella, who had a fly ball to center field his first time.
A little bit nervous there, huh?
Pitch is just off the plate.
No, he's really throwing, as you said, in a groove.
That's well hit to left.
Goodbye.
Home run, Piniella.
The right man, the right place, the right time. That's how Keith characterized the Yankees as we open the telecast. And this reporter suggested that today it might be Piniella. For this moment, at least, it is.
Well, he tried to turn it over a little bit. There's all the 5 home runs on the road and all off left-hand pitchers. As a matter of fact, the last time that the Yankees faced Caldwell, it was Piniella and Watson who hit home runs. You see, he did not get the arm down when he tried to turn that over. It just flattened out on him like I was talking a while ago. Piniella was out in front of the ball, but able to keep the bat back and then pop it at the last moment. He hit that through the wind.
Yes, he did. Right into it. Greg Nettles. Strike one on a foul.
Oh, it's great to have a man like Piniella on a team's bench.
He's been some player, hasn't he, through his career?
Really is such a solid hitter. Don't think he can't hit righties either. He can.
2 strikes on Nettles. Out looking. So the home run by Piniella did not shake the composure of Caldwell, but New York breaks on top in the top of the 4th inning as they get the first run of the ball game and take a 1-0 lead. For Milwaukee, as we go to the bottom of the 4th, it'll be Cooper, Simmons, and Thomas. Cooper, as we noted, leads it off for Milwaukee now as the Yankees lead in the ball game by a score of 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. That's up the middle, base hit. Brewers get the leadoff man aboard. Cooper hung in tough.
He put the ball down. Cooper, a pronounced low ball hitter, looking for it. See that?
He is. He just got a little too much of the plate. He kept it down, as you say, Howard. He kept it down well. It was right about knee high, but right over the middle of the plate. And Cooper's a type of hitter. I mentioned it last night. He's going to use the whole ballpark, and he will hit according to the count. He gets ahead of the hitter, or I should say ahead of the pitcher, and he'll go for the long ball. He'll try and pull it.
Ted Simmons going from the right side against the left-hander, dumps it foul down the right field line.
You can see that these Milwaukee hitters might have talked to themselves a little bit on the bench, say, hey, we can't go up there and just be free swinging off of this young man. He's got too much stuff.
That's to Watson. Knocks it down, cannot come up with it, and loses the double play opportunity. Makes the play at first, but Cooper is at second.
And you could see exactly what Simmons was doing. He was trying to hit it to the right side, and Watson had the double play. He just didn't have the baseball. Here's another look from our right field camera. Good shot. You see the way Simmons is approaching the ball. Watson just starts and said, whoops, I don't have the baseball. Now you just got
an easy double play is lost. Both runners, slow runners.
But what I was talking about, those Milwaukee hitters going up there and saying just pull, pull, pull. No way. You can't do that against a guy that throws as hard as Righetti. You've got to start hitting the ball where it's pitched. And that's just the swings that the last 2 men have had. We've already seen Bando double down the right field line.
Now, can Gorman Thomas do that? He's a power hitter. He is a hard swinger. He lashes at the ball. And so far, he has paid for it. Foul tip into Cerrone's glove. That makes your count 1-2.
Yeah, there's an interesting stat.
Sir.
Well, he strikes out Gorman Thomas for the second time in the ball game. That's number 7.
He's got Thomas right now talking to himself. That's the second time he struck out today, and there's our agenda for tomorrow. Milwaukee and New York, Kansas City and Oakland.
Will be regional telecasts, though. So have a look at your listings. Obviously, those of you in the West will get the Western game. Those of you in the East will primarily get the Eastern game. And somewhere in the middle of the country, they're going to draw the line. Ben Ogilvy, who struck out back in the second inning.
I tell you, the Dodgers go back to L.A. in deep trouble, but they have far from given up. I was talking to Charlie Metro, the Dodger scout, who's here in our hotel. He said, remember, we beat them 3 straight to force the playoff last year.
And I'm sure Houston thinks the same way.
There's Gorman Thomas.
He has now struck out 4 times in these 2 games against Yankee pitching. Last night and today. And swings through it. Fastball. Then just missed it. Struck him out. That's 8. So the Brewers get the leadoff man to second. Leave him there. And after 4, Yankees lead it 1-0. He is going to be dealing with a bright sky and dark shadows as well, and playing in a position he is not familiar with. Earlier, Howard talked to him about it.
Paul, it seems to me you've got one of the most testing challenges in the playoffs. You have to play right field. You've only played there 4 games. Makes you a little shaky, doesn't it?
Well, it sure makes me a little bit apprehensive after playing like 50 games in my inaugural year in the outfield, and then right down here the pennant stretch being switched over to right field. It's going to be a tough test for me, but I feel with Gorman in center field helping me out and helping me with my positioning, and the fact we've gone over the Yankee hitters quite a bit, I think I'm going to start the series pretty confidently in right field.
And he's done a good job out there so far. Ball is fouled away by Bob Watson for strike 1, with Milburn waiting on deck, and Rick Cerrone, the 3rd scheduled hitter for New York, here in the top of the 5th inning.
You have to respect an old pro by Watson. A terrible year for him. Worried about his future. Hobbled by injuries all year long. Inserted last night, 3 hits. But you know what he said? First, we'll take this pitch.
To Yount, the shortstop. 1 out.
Keith, before the game, he said, much as those 3 hits mattered to me, what mattered to me even more was my ability against a right-hand pitcher the last time up, and we showed it very well, replayed it, to guide that ball to second base and get the runner over to third.
Watson does not have the no-trade clause in his contract, apparently, and the situation came up with the possibility of a trade, and I think the Cubs were mentioned. It's a ground ball hit to Robin Yount by Larry Milburn, and you got 2 down. And he put perspective on that possibility rather definitively. He said, I'll retire.
This is the only play that Robin has. He's got to charge it hard. He's got to make the off-balance throw, because look how close the play is at first base from Milburn coming down from the right side.
Larry can move it. Cerrone now struck out swinging. First time. To the pitcher. And so Mike Caldwell gets the Yankees in order in the top of the 5th inning, pitching a fine ball game. So after 4 1/2, 1-0 New York. I think you can see in that graphic on your screen, do have some power pitchers. The strikeouts that have been accumulated in the 13 innings that we have played in this Eastern Division playoffs. Sal Bando, Charlie Moore, and Jim Kentner, bottom 3rd of the order now for Milwaukee, home half of the 5th inning. The rest of this best-of-5 series will be played in New York. Yankees won the opener 5-3. And the pitch is inside.
Now there you can see what Righetti's thinking. Last time he threw the fastball out over the plate, and Bando just went right with it and hit it down the right field line. He said, if you want to do it this time, why try and hit the inside pitch down there?
Two balls and no strikes. Sal didn't like that call. It's 2-1.
I don't blame him.
Well, it can be a little tough to see for everybody.
Maybe Jim Palmer's right. Maybe it's becoming a low ball league. Buck Rogers is wondering.
You know, I was very serious about that, too. As hard as you have Righetti throwing and you have those shadows, don't forget the man in blue behind home plate.
He's not automatic.
No, he's not. And they can have just as tough a time as a catcher and a hitter finding that ball.
Bando, foul ball. Oh, it's a fair ball. Fair ball. And Bando digging around and going for two.
Let's have another look at that.
I think it hit, they say it hit about a few inches off the line, but here we'll take another peek at it from our camera. Bob Lemon and Greg Nettles going out. Nettles coming over, and they say where it went over the bag, and I don't know. I don't know whether that ball...
I don't believe that call. It's not a second guess. There's no partisanship in this booth. I just don't believe it.
Well, there's where it was called all the way by Al Clark, the third base umpire. And what they're talking about is where it went over the bag.
Oh, wait a minute. Watch this.
There it is again. That might have got just a piece of the line.
He called it instantly.
Very quickly he called it. There was no doubt in his mind. Righetti's got the advantage because the left-hand pitcher coming off the mound, if he can get to the ball at all, if it is a sacrifice situation, he's got the play right in front of him, and he's being left-handed. He can make the play much easier to third. I don't know if they're going to sacrifice.
It screams for it, seems to me. Not yet.
They give him one shot to right field. Now we'll see if Bob Rogers takes it off. Nope.
Not this time, my friend.
He's going again. Well, that's what I mentioned. You've got the left-hand hitter coming right up behind him. Although Gantner does battle left-handers very well.
Struck him out.
You strike out a guy like Charlie Moore twice, as we said, an excellent contact hitter. You're really doing something.
That's 9 strikeouts now for Righetti. His career high, 11 against Boston. So he's closing in on that. Now it is Jim Gantner.
Rogers will be second guessed for not bunting, unless the Brewers come up with a tying hit.
Pops up the bunt attempt right to Watson at first base. 2 down.
There are the boos.
Now Molitor.
This, of course, is the first ball fastball hitter.
Ball 1.
Didn't go after it then.
That's popped up out of play. Struck him out. That's 10. So the Brewers leave a man at second base. Yankees lead 1-0. Back with more after this word from our local station.
You can't go now. I'm playing a big game. I don't care if you're playing the New York Yankees. You need something hot for lunch. But I'm late. There's time for Mug-a-Lunch.
Some lunch times there just isn't time for lunch. That's the time to start with Mug-a-Lunch. Hot, hearty dishes you make in a mug in minutes, like new chicken noodle and macaroni and cheese.
Now you're ready.
Mug-a-Lunch? You trying to take advantage of us?
Gossage and Pinella. The New York Yankees?
Mug-a-Lunch. Hot, hearty, in a hurry.
There's the New York dugout. They lead in the ball game 1-0. And we'll come up with Willie Randolph, Jerry Mumphrey, and Dave Winfield in the top of the 6th inning as Jim Slayton now is up in the Milwaukee pen starting to warm up.
That's Jamie Easterly.
Jamie Easterly. Clayton worked effectively last night. Easterly did not. Randolph hits it to the shortstop, Robin Yount. Rob's throw. Plenty of time. 1 out.
What a job Caldwell has done. If the Brewers can come on to win this game, they've got their pitching ace, hopefully better, able to work tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. Vukovic.
Yeah, can't tell about a virus, so he had a high fever, they said. Never know. Mumphrey takes a strike.
Well, so far he's only thrown the one bad pitch. He got the little off-speed little Scroogey up over the plate to Piniella. That's been the difference. That pitch there.
On the ground to Gantner. He was cruising on it, then he had to jack it up.
Hey, Hall of Famer Eddie Matthews. How he used to love this ballpark. Remember, Don?
Oh, yes, sir.
In the days of the Braves.
He hit a few out of this ballpark. He's a scout now, advanced scout for the Oakland A's and Billy Martin.
What a team that was. Oh, boy. Adcock, Logan, Temple, and Matthews, Bill Bruton, and Henry Aaron. What a team. Del Crandall.
Del Rice. And then what about the pitching staff? Of course, you had
Burdette,
Covington in the outfield, Burdette, Buell, Spahn, and Conley.
Not too shabby. And in 57, they won it all, with Burdette getting 3 victories. In 58, there was the shoe polish and Nippy Jones.
Winfield at the plate. Up the middle it goes. Base hit. Base hits now for New York. With 2 down, Jackson comes up. Winfield on first.
I wonder if anybody's ever worn polished shoes ever since.
Every now and then you see somebody start to think about asking that. And they realize you don't even do that anymore. They're all different colored shoes now.
Didn't get all of it. Just missed it. Lifted to center field. And Gorman Thomas makes the catch. So Mike Caldwell gives up a single to Dave Winfield, but he gets Reggie Jackson, and the Yankees are turned away in the top of the 6th, leading 1-0. Simmons, the scheduled 3 hitters for Milwaukee, bottom of the 6th inning. So far in this ball game, Dave Righetti has struck out 10 in the game last night, plus today. A total of 22 Brewers have been struck out by New York pitching. Everybody has struck out at least 1 time. Out of the way.
There is one of the great people, Harvey Keene. Remember when he came up under the big bear, the late Fred Hutchinson, together with another kid named Al Kaline? He lives for this game. He's had a leg amputated. He is still a great batting coach.
Sharply to Milburn. And he throws Yount out, with Cooper now coming to the plate. Little roller past the mound. Whoa, Randolph slips, but he makes the play. And his feet almost go out from under him.
Coop got down there very well.
If Randolph goes down, he can't make the play. Cooper, he still got out of the box well by Righetti. Now watch Willie. He just stays right there and gets rid. Look at the feet action, the leg action, how somehow he gets them back underneath of him.
Great balance.
Oh, boy.
Looked like Lynn Kane of the Falcons in one of his runs earlier this year.
There it is again. Now he's going down, but somehow he gets back and he actually takes a little stride.
Yep.
Simmons into left center field for a base hit. So Simmons is on for the 2nd time, having walked back in the 2nd. And that is the 4th base hit for the Brewers.
Well, you think that ball doesn't go through this infield? That went through the infield like artificial turf.
Another chance for Gorman Thomas. And this inning is the 1st inning where thus far we have not had a Righetti strikeout. Struck out 2 in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th.
thing that Gorman Thomas has got to do right now, he's got to have just a little clubhouse meeting with himself, and I'm sure the man you were talking about a while ago, Harvey Keene, had a word to say to him. He just has to discipline himself a little bit, Howard. He's been up there, he's been freewheeling it, and he hasn't been successful. Now, all of a sudden, a bell rings down in the Yankee bullpen.
Davis and Rudy May.
Because Gossage and Davis and Raleigh finished.
2 balls and no strikes. Low inside. 3 balls, no strikes. Foul ball. Broke his bat.
Now, there's a case where Bob Rogers,
I'll tell you,
he green lights him 3-0. He knows it just takes one swing of the bat, and he can be in the lead by a run.
I thought it was a good call by the manager.
Why not?
Takes some guts, but a good call. You know, he's not very well known, Keith, but he's a quality guy. This guy has a record like Caldwell's. On the road, he's much better hitter than he is here at home.
White must have him working too hard at home, huh?
Of course, Yankee Stadium is Death Valley.
Do you think he worries?
Glenn?
He's beautiful. He's
been through too much in his life to let what happens in any ball game affect him.
3-1 pitch. High, ball 4. It's the first time that Gorman Thomas has been on base in this series. Simmons now goes down to second with Thomas at first, and here comes Ben Ogilvie to the plate and Bob Lemon to the mound.
It just might be a case right here, too, where if Bob's going out to make a pitching change, he wants to see if he's still holding it and to see how he feels. It appears that he's still throwing good, although he could be forcing it just a little bit. That's as wild as we've seen him to any one hitter, but I think Lee will stay with him.
On the surface, getting back to the manager for a moment, who obviously believes Righetti can extricate himself. On the surface, the most placid man in the world. But once, the most violent man I have ever seen in a baseball uniform. It was in the bottom of the 9th. First game, 1954 World Series. They had lived through the Mays catch on Wirtz, and a fellow named Dusty Rhodes hit a high pop fly, pinch hitter. Bobby Avila, the Cleveland second baseman, was waiting for it to come down. It landed in the first row in the Polo Grounds.
Ogilvie at the plate takes strike. This is the second time in the ball game that you have had 2 Milwaukee base runners. They had it back in the second when Simmons walked and Bando doubled. And coming up on Saturday, the annual shootout in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas between the Sooners and the Longhorns. Times listed there. Texas ranked 3rd in the nation. Oklahoma 10th. Ogilvie has not been on base as yet in the series. He's been to bat 6 times. He's struck out 5 times. He hits it high in the air, in play for the center fielder Mumphrey, who has to come now as the wind gets it, and he makes the catch. So Milwaukee is turned away here in the bottom of the 6th inning as New York continues to lead 1-0. The pitchers have dominated it. As a matter of fact, the New York pitchers have dominated all of it so far. And there's the man swinging the bat, getting loose to come to the plate to lead off the top of the 7th inning for the Yankees. He hit the solo home run back in the 4th. Hit it into the left field seats about 5 rows deep. For the only scoring in the ball game, Lou Piniella. He'll be followed by Greg Nettles and Bob Watson. Caldwell flags it down, and Mike throws out Lou Piniella for the first out. That's Jim Slayton, who pitched last night, and Jamie Easterly, the left-hander.
This is a good play by Caldwell.
Certainly was.
That ball hit hard back through the middle. And it takes a full extension to get it.
Yankee third baseman Nettles. 0 for 2. To the shortstop, Yount.
See him reach for that. He had nothing on that swing.
He had that breaking pitch down in a good location, too. There you take another look at the breaking pitch. Struck Greg out on one of those out there the last time at bat. And all that is just a little defensive little swing.
That's all it was.
And hope for a bad hop.
Now this guy, he might be able to do something.
2 down, nobody on for Watson. That one's pounded up the middle. Yount comes across behind the bag and throws him out. So Caldwell gets New York rather easily in the top of the 7th inning. But the scoreboard remains. New York 1, Milwaukee coming up in the bottom of the 7th, and the home folks starting to holler some. Davis coming in for his 2nd successive appearance. He pitched 2 2/3 last night, and he was dynamite. Retired 8 in a row and struck out 4. Book on Righetti. 6 innings, no earned runs, 5 hits. He struck out 10. He walked 2. Ron Davis will be facing Sal Bando, Charlie Moore, and Jim Gantner.
Well, this is interesting. Obviously, Righetti was tired. May have told Lem so, or Lem believes so. But this is only the 2nd time in season 2, if you want to call it that Davis has worked on consecutive days. Not too long ago, in an important series at Fenway Park, it was important then, Davis stifled the Red Sox in the late going of the opening game of a 3-game set. Called upon again the next day. Davis failed. And it'll be interesting to see if he can put it together back to back. Look at Righetti's stats. Tremendous 6 innings that young man pitched.
Yeah, but such an overwhelming desire to win 2 here. Whoa, what an edge they're going to have if they walk out of here with 2 wins.
If. They've got a long way to go.
Ball 1 to Bando. Sal has 2 doubles and 2 appearances. 1 down the right side, 1 down the left side. Ball 2.
Supposed to be a high ball league.
Used to be a high ball league.
Yep.
Comes into the ball game at 90 miles an hour. 2 balls and a strike. Bando pops it up. Third baseman Nettles going to get a crick in his neck before that one comes down. 1 out. Charlie Moore.
First time they've gotten Bando.
And I think Roy Howell's going to come out. He'll hit for Charlie Moore.
Yep.
Go to the left-hander.
Ball 1. Ball 2. Sort of shook his foundation there a tad.
There's your defensive alignment. Watson, you see just a big giant step off of the foul line. He's got a giant behind him in Ken Kaiser, the first base umpire.
Bites the outside corner. 3-1.
There's a pitch that Cerrone sometimes has to get on Davis about. Now, he didn't. It was really a 3-0 pitch, but he really didn't have too much on it. Let's watch this one.
Howell walks. One out. Howell at first. Gantner up.
Very, very interesting.
Wally Fingers now up in the Milwaukee bullpen. There's the man.
You think that isn't some kind of a year? Oh. He's got a chance at the Cy Young and the MVP.
This is exactly what happened to Davis in that game against the Red Sox when he worked for the 2nd day in a row. A failure of control.
That's hit to right field for a base knock. Howell turns at second and holds on as Jackson guns it back in. Now Milwaukee with 1 out. Have base runners on second and first. Here comes the top of the order. And the top of the Milwaukee order has got to be a little hot. They haven't done much. Hot under the collar at least. And here comes Bob Lemon to the mound.
Yes, indeed.
There's the goose.
Yes.
Well, you talk about that top of the order, Keith, and between Molitor and Yount, they've gone 1 for 12 in the 2 games.
Doesn't mean a thing.
And Thad Bosley going out to run at second base for Roy Howell.
Bosley can fly.
He can run. Yes, sir.
What does that do to Milwaukee now in the DH circumstance? That means Bosley stays?
He'll be there now. Unless they have somebody else on the bench.
They've got Don Money.
Got Money is right. Right now, Bob Rogers, he said, I've seen enough of that Yankee pitching. I want to try and tie this thing before trying to win it.
Davis misses low and outside for ball 1.
This man is really struggling. It's not the pitcher he was last night.
Outside corner, 1-1.
Well, I tell you, the goose is warming up down in the bullpen like someone's after him with a shotgun. He's getting it and firing it.
Ball skitters away from Cerrone. Runners move up.
And
Wild pitch.
that's what Mr. Davis did when he pitched for the 2nd day in a row in that Red Sox series I referred to. A wild pitch.
Molitor is just right now hoping it doesn't hurt too much because he figures that he has been hit.
Now he's got a chance, if he can carry the ball to the outfield, to get Milwaukee a run. It's bounced. Foul.
Oh,
that's close.
I tell you, that's a good play by Bosley at third and also by the third base coach, Harry Warner. He said, get back here. Don't you be going anywhere. He started to go. Warner got his attention. Nettles, I think, right now knows that there's only one way for him to make any kind of a play, and that's barehanded and hold it. He sees it's going to go foul, and it just did go foul. If Bosley tries to score, Nettles throws him out.
Blown it foul.
So Molitor still up there, 0 for 8 in the series, with a tying run at third base.
It took a little courage to take that baby, too. It's now full, 3-2. Make you jump a little? I twitched up here, and I'm 115 feet from it.
Davis is trying too hard, trying to put too much stuff on it. That's what caused the wild pitch.
That's a foul ball. I'm going to, after that one, it was fair a while ago. I'm almost afraid to call him over there until I see what Al Clark says. Fouled away. That's foul. Molitor works him for a walk.
Almost another wild pitch.
Now the bases are loaded with 1 out. And here comes Bob Lemon. Davis is gone.
Boy, here's a good play right here by Cerrone because that ball was sailing. He got underneath of that ball, and it actually kind of worked a little bit like a breaking pitch. And there's the man you're going to see, Rich Gossage.
All right, let's see what Robin Yount can do now. A tying run is at third in the person of Thad Bosley. Ball 1.
The one thing you know, a ground ball hit to Milbourne or Randolph, Molitor has got to try and knock one of them down.
That's right. Ball 2. There's a strike. Popped him up. Nettles at third. 2 down.
Did you see Gregg as he caught the ball with his foot on third base, just in case Bosley made a mental error?
That's exactly right. He's just standing right there. All Bosley's got to do is just back off of that bag because Thad was getting out of the way so that he wouldn't interfere with him. There you see Bosley standing there. And first of all, it's the infield fly. That's what Al Clark is calling.
Al Clark called it.
So he's out anyway.
Did you see him sneak the little look? Now you've got a different kettle of fish. Cecil Cooper.
But now it takes a base hit to get the tying run across.
Notice he has had success against Gossage in his career. Cooper, of course, one of the finest hitters in the game. He can hit anybody.
That one might have sailed away too. Cerrone had to extend his left arm to get it. 2 balls, no strikes.
You can just sit there and look at Rick Cerrone. He's not going to trick anybody. He's just sticking down a finger. That's all. Here it comes.
2-1. Fouled away. 2-2. Struck him out. Oh, if you're a Milwaukee fan, you just got to be biting your knuckles, huh? Glorious opportunity escapes them. They leave the bases loaded. They had the tying run at third base with only 1 out. They couldn't get it home. After 7 innings of play, New York 1, Milwaukee nothing. It'll be Larry Milburn, Rick Cerrone, and Willie Randolph. Mike Caldwell stays in the game. He's pitched a fine ball game. Allowed 5 hits, knocks that one down, and he throws out Milburn.
Mike Caldwell has done something more than just pitch a fine game. He's been a 5th infielder out there. He made the good grab earlier that we talked about, and he's just done it again. Remember the shot by Watson?
Now that's exactly what you have to be. He's in good position. He knocks the ball down. Now all he's got to do is pick it up. It's getting a little dark out. I was watching home plate umpire Dale Ford as they throw out Milburn. And you might see the lights come on pretty soon.
This has turned into a very, very good series. Last night was an action game. This one, pitcher's battle, but with growing, accumulating excitement.
Ball is lined sharply to left, but Ben Ogilvy is right there. Ball stayed down, so Ben never had any trouble with the sun. Now it's Willie Randolph. Second baseman Kantner. And Caldwell gets them very efficiently in order in the top of the 8th. And the score after 7½, 1-0 Yankees. American League playoffs. Milwaukee and the Yankees in the Eastern Regional, and Kansas City at Oakland in the Western Regional. And Goose Gossage is out on the mound for the New York Yankees. Pitched last night very effectively, and he's out there throwing the ball again today at about 95 miles an hour. Ron Davis was not successful, and Ted Simmons has hit a high fly ball to straightaway center field for the first out. Now it'll be Gorman Thomas and Ben Ogilvy.
Mike Caldwell. You could see him during the game, getting stronger and stronger, confidence growing almost with every pitch. Just a brilliant performance.
Well, I remember, was it not a year ago, or was it the year before, when Mike Schmidt, the power hitter of the Philadelphia Phillies, was collared and all of a sudden crash. One wonders if Gorman Thomas is going to find it. One ball and 2 strikes. Looking.
How could he look at that? He fooled him with the breaking pitch. That's exactly what the Goose did.
That's exactly what it was, too, because it started a little bit inside, and all of a sudden Gorman Thomas says, let me out of here, and after that he couldn't pull the trigger and just caught the inside corner.
He has now struck out 5 times in the 2 games. And so has Ben Ogilvy, who's at the plate now with 2 out. Didn't get cheated, did he?
No, he won't get cheated.
It's 2 of them. 97 miles an hour on both.
Yeah, isn't that incredible?
You know, the thing on Gossage, I believe you've got to make him wait a little bit.
That's foul.
He gets in those grooves and he wants to work fast. Yeah, Cerrone wants to slow him down a little bit, but you get a lot of pitchers out there that like to work in a hurry, and just at the catcher's tempo, you might make them wait a little bit more.
Gone.
Goose hangs high.
Another breaking pitch.
Gossage shoots him down. He's got 5 in a row now. He's just tied up Ogilvy on the curve. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning, or rather the top of the 9th inning, in a 1-0 ball game. And after this word from our local station.
Hey, you!
Who, me?
Take my picture.
Me?
Here, use my Panasonic video camera and portable VHS recorder.
Reggie, I don't know how.
It's easy. All the controls can be attached to the camera, so you can take pictures. Smile. And with Panasonic, you get instant replay right through the camera, so you know you've got the shot. Take my picture. I got it.
I got it.
Get the fun of outdoors indoors with Panasonic OmniVision.
Reggie Vision.
All right, it's Mumphrey, Winfield, and Jackson in the top of the 9th inning as Caldwell has gone back out there. He's going to try to go 9. And why not? The job he's done. The only run allowed by Caldwell, the solo home run by Piniella in the 4th inning. Mumphrey hits it to center. Thomas drops back. 1 out. So Mumphrey's collared today by Mike Caldwell. Winfield has 2 singles and is struck out swinging. Whoa. Rip. Is it? No, it's inside the ballpark. Winfield will go into second. Can't hit it any harder. The only thing was it just ran out of real estate and hit the wall before it had enough time to rise.
3 of the last 4 hitters have suddenly hit the ball hard. Cerrone to end the last inning. Mumphrey opening this inning. And now that.
Ellie just got the ball over the plate, and that ball, that's exactly all that happened to it, Keith. He just hit it too hard. He gets that ball up in the air. He might have hit it clean out of the ballpark out there in left center field as Bob Rogers is going to the mound. They've got action in the Milwaukee bullpen, or they had action. Raleigh Fingers was throwing. But you've got the left-hander Jackson standing at home plate. So that could influence the thoughts of Bob Rogers, and I'm sure it has. It appears that it has.
And that's why he's sticking with Mike.
It's Mike Caldwell's wife. She's sort of agonized over the way things have gone this afternoon, I'm sure.
It's not going to solace her if the Brewers lose that Mike has pitched so superbly well.
All right, Winfield is at second. Reggie up. 1-0 Yankees. And that's foul. Top of the 9th inning. New York trying to win 2 in Milwaukee. Two strikes on Reggie.
Beautiful pitch.
Here's a good curveball. Reggie just really kind of overmatched with that pitch. He had it in an excellent location. The thing that makes good hitters, though, they can be overmatched with one pitch and the next time come up and beat your brains out.
That's right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The crowd, 26,395 this afternoon. Last night, 35,064.
Another year under different circumstances, there would have been full houses both days.
Pretty close. 2-2. Look out.
Good boy. Forget it. Mr. October.
3-0 New York.
Well, he hung it. He got the curveball in a good location a couple of times, and then he turned around and he ended up hanging one. And Jackson, it appeared that he was just laying on that breaking pitch because he rode it out of here in a hurry. And here comes Bob Rogers. Boy, there is a great swing right there.
It hasn't happened to him that often this year, but the drama is somehow still there. The familiar, dramatic look at what he had done.
3-0 Yankees. And the exodus begins from Milwaukee's County Stadium. Slayton is preparing to come into the ball game to pitch for the Brewers. We've got a timeout. We'll be right back. In the middle last night for Milwaukee has come on in relief here in the top of the 9th inning of Mike Caldwell. Caldwell's book, 8 1/3, 3 earned runs, 7 hits, struck out 4, and this was the one that took him out of the ball game. A hanging pitch, curveball that was ridden deep out of the ballpark by Jackson. When he got it, it's kind of like hitting a golf ball solid. You know when you get it.
Well, he knew he got that one because it got out of here in a hurry, and there wasn't any doubt about it.
Sitting next to him is a man who, as much as he's being paid and as good as he is, really doesn't get the kind of plaudits he deserves. That's him. That is he, David Winfield. He got 3 hits today.
We not only have to put up with his cigars, we got to get an English lesson here.
Well, the copulative verb takes the nominative sense.
Me. All right, Jimmy Slayton. He goes to 1-1 now on Lou Piniella. 1 out, 2 runs are in on the Jackson home run. Greg Nettles is in the on-deck spot. And Gossage now with 3-run cushion going to the bottom of the 9th inning.
Looked like on that last breaking pitch to Piniella, he got his spikes caught. He couldn't move and just kind of fell out of the batter's spot.
That ball is hit into center field. Drifting to right center now with the wind as Gorman Thomas makes the catch for the 2nd out. There's the goose.
And number 1. We'll see.
Well, the way things have gone in the American League West with Oakland jumping out to a 2-0 lead over Kansas City to go home, it looks like the possibility exists, if not the probability, that it'll be Billy Martin back in Yankee Stadium.
That'll be something, won't it? That'll be some championship series.
Jimmy Gantner throws out Greg Nettles, and the side is retired. But the big damage has been done by Reggie Jackson as he hits a 2-run home run to give Goose Gossage and the Yankees a 3-0 lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning.
Now let's take a look at your relief corps. Goose Gossage. Where is he now, in your opinion, honestly, in effectiveness as against where he was in June?
Well, that's a tough question to answer because we really don't know where he is. His velocity is good. It's just a matter of getting out there and facing hitters. He did well for us in Baltimore the last couple days when he had to get back and pitch. It's hard to say. Goose in June was unbelievable. You know, his ERA was something like .038 or something. He was awesome. Right now, you know that he's going to be keyed up, and we need him to win this series.
Relative understatement. Now we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's put-up time for the Brewers. Albando. And we'll see who hits from. There's going to be money coming out in the on-deck circle. And then Gantner. That ball is sharply hit to left field. Base hit for Bando. And Sal now 3 for 4.
Is that Bando something? And now what Lemon has to think about is Davis couldn't do it back-to-back consecutive days. Maybe the goose after 1 2/3 brilliant innings. Maybe. As Don Money comes up, maybe the goose will have trouble. Fatigue.
Don Money making his first appearance in the Eastern Division playoffs. Takes the pitch on the letters tight for ball 1. Ball 2. Bando at first, short of speed. Powell was in as the DH, is now out of the game. He's the other third baseman for the Brewers. Now 2-1. That's popped in the air, coming out of play into the crowd on the screen. Leadoff man aboard. Bando at first base. Money is up. Jams him inside. And it's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Don almost walked into that. Look at that thing run on him.
Gets a little bit interesting, doesn't it?
Hit in the air to left field. Winfield drifts in. And you've got 1 out. Bando stays at first, and here is Jim Gantner, the second baseman. Singled his last time. Got the single off Ron Davis.
There's Buck Rogers. He characterized Gantner as a tough, scrappy competitor. Going into this series, he's proving out as exactly that. He's got some future.
Brewers are not doing much to disrupt Gossage's pace, though. They're letting him work at his own pace. Imagine George Foster. George would go in and out of that batter's box like he was on a string. Would not allow it. Got him looking.
I guess Mrs. Gossage has grown accustomed to her husband's pace.
Boy, that's a pretty good looking pitch there, isn't it? Burned the knees. All right. The final gasp in the second game at County Stadium. Molitor steps in. All takes a strike. The Yankees 3, Milwaukee nothing. The Yankees won it last night, 5-3. 26 Brewers have struck out in the 2 games. 26. One and 1 pitch to Molitor. Inside, 2-1. Two and 2. Foul, straight back. Foul ball. There's a man who's had a tough 2 games here. Little looper drops in center field. Bando stops at second. Well, Molitor finally shakes the shackles with a single to center. And here comes Robin Yount representing the tying run. He is capable.
This is the man who hit the 3-run home run that turned the season around for the Brewers against the Tigers.
Story very simply is the tying run in Robin Yount at the plate with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Yankees leading 3-0, and that one is high.
Even Lim showing some degree of emotion.
It up, coming back. Cerrone, did he get it? Oh, what a great play by Rick Cerrone. He went right to the wire, he caught it, and the ball game is over.
An absolutely remarkable play. Last night after the game with George Steinbrenner. Talked with him about his differences with Cerrone. George said, I'll take it all back if he keeps playing right through the World Series, assuming the Yankees were to get there, of course, the way he played tonight. Well, he played that way again just now. Just a remarkable play.
He had no more than an inch or 2 margin as the ball was coming down to the screen. He went right to it and stayed right on it and just barely was able to get it. So there are the numbers in the ball game. Righetti wins it with a save by Gossage. Caldwell loses it. 2 home runs in the ball game by New York. Jackson with the 2-runner and Piniella with a solo. And here's the play that ended the game. Now watch Rick. Comes right to the screen. Going to climb it if he has to. Hangs his right hand on it. Reaches up. And comes down with it. Sort of picked it off of there before the ball hit the screen. If the ball touches the screen, obviously it's foul. So he just sort of flicks it away from the wire and then made the catch.
It's as if he were playing basketball for Seton Hall, where he went.
He just reached up there and flicked the ball away from the wire and then made the catch. Well, it ended on a noble effort, didn't it?
It certainly did.
So the Yankees win it by a score of 3-0, and they leave Milwaukee's County Stadium ahead 2-0 back after this word from a local station.